This is Lewis Ritson and you're watching Sport Icons.
Right, I just watched the roundtable with Josh Warrington and Carl Frampton, and I'll put that in the description box above for you all, so go give it a watch if you like. So Josh Warrington, of course, he's the IBF World Champion. Carl Frampton is, of course, a challenger. Now, both of these guys, Josh Warrington is undefeated, and Carl Frampton, while he does have one loss on his record against Leo Santa Cruz, he has also beaten Leo Santa Cruz. So he has actually defeated every man that he's ever faced. Now, it's a very interesting fight, and it's a fight that I believe has got 12 rounds written all over it. I don't see a stoppage in this fight. Not to say it's not going to happen, but it's just how I feel. I think it's going to be a 12-rounder. I think it's going to be a very, very close fight. Both guys will come out with black eyes, cuts, and all sorts. I think both of these guys will go to the well on plenty of occasions. Now, within the round table, these guys are very, very amicable, which is almost out of character for Josh Warrington, because when Josh Warrington was fighting or was set to fight Lee Selby for that title, he was very brash, he was shouting around and the new and all this kind of thing, and I thought that it was fake confidence. But listen, he did what he had to do against Lee Selby. But there's always been questions about Lee Selby. He's never really took on the best of the best, okay? And so for Josh Warrington to beat him, while Josh Warrington was the underdog in that fight, no doubt about it whatsoever, but he did what many people didn't feel he could do, which is become world champion. People felt Lee Selby was just too awkward and too tough and would just outdog him. But it turned out to be the opposite, right? And Josh Warrington got his arm raised at Ellen Road. Now, this time at the Manchester Arena, it is more local to Josh Warrington, but it's 35 minutes drive from Leeds for him, but it's a 30-minute plane ride from Belfast, right? So I suppose you could kind of say it's neutral ground, even though it kind of isn't. It is more in favour of Josh Warrington. But listen, Carl Frampton is no stranger to travelling abroad. Of course, he's been to New York to take on Leo Santa Cruz and other things like that. But of course, his last couple of fights, he's wanted them at Belfast. He wanted his own people on his side. But he says that he kind of almost misses being the away fighter because he raises his game a little bit higher when he's got the crowd against him. Even though he went to New York to take on Leo Santa Cruz, it was very pro Carl Frampton, but he likes the crowd to be against him at times, which raises his bar. Josh Warrington, of course, he's got the fanatical Leeds fans, and they are a rowdy, rowdy bunch. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant, brilliant support that he's got. And this is an interesting fight. Very, very interesting. Now, of course, people are going to have to decide, do you want to watch this fight on BT Sport, box office pay-per-view, or do you want to watch Dillian Whyte versus Derek Chisora, the rematch on Sky Sports box office? So people are going to be weighing them up. It will be too much to ask for people to pay for both, because you can't watch both at the same time unless you watch one live and then the replay the following morning on the other one. I suppose you could do that. But I think that it's an unfortunate situation that both of these events are on at the same time. I know Frank Warren blames Eddie Hearn, but to be fair, Eddie Hearn, he did say that Dillian Whyte will be fighting on December 22nd at the O2, and he was saying it for months before it was officially announced. So, no, it's nobody's fault really, and of course Sky Sports, they wanted that day anyway. Now, as to who's going to win Josh Warrington and Frampton, as I said, it's been very amicable. The whole roundtable was amicable. Both of them are confident. Both of them believe that they have that extra couple of % to pull it out the bag. And this is going to come down to heart more than skill, in my opinion. I think that both of these guys are going to just be chasing each other around the ring, and they're going to be trading. And it wouldn't surprise me if we actually see Josh Warrington hit the canvas for the first time in his professional career. I don't know about amateur or anything like that, but he's never been put down even for a 8 count on the canvas. But that doesn't mean he can't be. But for me, I feel that if Josh Warrington does go down, he's got enough about him to get up. And I do believe that this fight will go 12 rounds. And as to who wins, to be honest, I'm kind of split between them both, because I do like them both. And I'm really not fussed about who wins, but I do feel that as much as I'm very, very impressed with Josh Warrington, I think Carl Frampton has just got that little bit more for big fight night experience. But there again, I did say that about Lee Selby as well, that I thought that as a headliner and big fight night experience, he has that Josh Warrington doesn't have. But Josh Warrington raised his game. So maybe he needs to raise it a hell of a lot more against Carl Frampton. And that's what he's going to have to do. Because if you put Lee Selby in with Carl Frampton, I'll probably say 7 or 8 people out of 10 will pick Carl Frampton to beat Lee Selby. But who knows how this fight's going to go. Josh Warrington, he's been on a mission to become world champion. And now he's on another mission to keep that title. He didn't want to give it up. He's getting some new fame, and he's starting to earn decent money now. Carl Frampton, he's been there, he's done it, and he wants to do it again. So does Carl Frampton still have it in the tank? Does he still have the desire that he says that he does? On Fight Night, we'll have to wait and find out. So anyway, I'll put the link to that video in the description box. Go give it a watch. Come to your own conclusions. What do you make of it? Do you think that there's a psychological edge for either one of them? Or is it a case of you just think that this is a very, very even fight, or one is heavily favourite over the other one? Will there be a stoppage? As I said, for me, I believe it will go 12 rounds. And I think that if the judges are fair, I think that Carl Frampton will get the decision. But ultimately, I wouldn't be disappointed at all if Josh Warrington was to win. So anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours, click that thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.